Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS, and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news, all right, folks. Let's dive into a story that's been buzzing around the NFL lately, one that could have major implications for the Washington Commanders and the entire NFC East. Rumors are swirling that the Pittsburgh Steelers might be open to trading one of their most dominant defensive stars, TJ Watt. Now, I know what you're thinking, TJ. Watt, a true sack machine, one of the most relentless pass rushers in the league, and a player who's been a cornerstone of Pittsburgh's defense since he entered the league. The idea that he might be on the move is shocking, but let's break down what's really happening here and what it could mean for Washington. First, some context. The Steelers, sitting at a 7-6 record with playoff hopes hanging by a thread, are facing some tough decisions. They've had an up-and-down season, and with only a few games left, their chances of making a deep postseason run seem uncertain. The team is in a bit of a rebuild mode, or at least they're trying to manage their cap space and future prospects. They currently have around $15 million in cap space, which they want to preserve for extensions and roster flexibility moving forward. Historically, the Steelers have been very cautious about trading away their top players, especially someone like Watt, who's been a leader on that defense. But sources close to the NFL are whispering that Pittsburgh is considering a bold move, trading Watt for a first-round pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. Why would they do that? Well, it's about the rebuild and cap management. Watt, despite being an absolute game wrecker, has had some injury issues this season, limiting him to just 13 games. Still, he's managed to rack up 70 sacks, 53 tackles, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries, plus an interception. His PFF grade this year is a solid 72. 1 overall with a 75-0 pass rush grade, showing he's still a dominant force when healthy. But the question is, can Watt stay healthy? And is Pittsburgh willing to gamble on his durability moving forward? Furthermore, the Steelers are eyeing a future where they can stockpile draft capital and focus on building a young core, especially on offense, where they need more explosive playmakers. From the Steelers' perspective, trading Watt makes sense if they believe they can get a valuable first-round pick in 2026, something that could help them land a franchise quarterback or other key pieces to accelerate their rebuild. Plus, with the team's current defensive struggles, losing Watt might seem risky, especially since they give up 23.9 points per game, and Watt's presence is a huge boost for their pass rush. Without him, their pressure rate drops, and their defense becomes easier to attack. Still, they're betting on the idea that they can replace his production and use the draft capital to strengthen other areas. Now, let's shift gears and look at what this potential move could mean for the Commanders. Washington, currently sitting at 3-10, is struggling on defense, giving up an average of 27.2 points per game. Their pass rush has been inconsistent, and they're desperately looking for that game-changing player who can elevate the entire unit. Enter TJ Watt. Imagine him lining up on that defensive line. His presence alone would be a game-changer. A player of his caliber would instantly boost the pass rush by around 20%, according to projections, and could realistically rack up 12 or more sacks in a season. That kind of production would dramatically improve the defense's ability to pressure opposing quarterbacks, force turnovers, and help keep games within reach. For the Commanders, acquiring Watt would be a massive boost to their front seven. His addition would elevate the pass rush, making it much harder for opponents' quarterbacks to operate comfortably. His ability to generate pressure could add roughly 15% to their expected EPA per play against the pass, which is huge. With Watt in the lineup, the Commanders' defense could resemble the dominant front seven of the 2019 49ers, smothering teams, reducing total yards allowed by over 500 yards across a season, and creating more turnovers. That's exactly what they need to take the next step toward becoming a playoff contender, especially with a quarterback like Sam Howell gaining more experience and potentially becoming a franchise guy. Some fans might wonder, what about the impact on the offense? Well, that's less directly affected, but the ripple effect is real. When the defense is better, the offense gets more opportunities, and the team as a whole breathes easier. Plus, for a young quarterback like Daniels, having a pass rush monster like Watt would buy him more time in the pocket, something he's still developing. The comparison to the Burns trade last year, which helped boost the Giants' pass rush by 8 sacks, is apt here. Watt's presence could do the same for the Commanders, pushing them closer to playoff contention and perhaps even a deep run in the postseason. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. The Super Bowl odds reflect the uncertainty and potential of this kind of move. Currently, the Commanders are listed with odds of plus 25-0, pretty long, right? But if Watt joins, those odds could easily shift to plus 8-0 or better. That's a significant jump, and it signals how much a player like Watt could transform this team's chances. With him anchoring the pass rush, the Commanders could become a legitimate defensive powerhouse, reminiscent of the days when the Redskins' defenses were feared across the league. Think about a defense that can consistently pressure the quarterback, force turnovers, and set up the offense with short fields. That's how champions are built, and Watt's addition could be the missing piece. Looking further into the potential impact, it's not just about immediate wins. It's about establishing a culture of dominance on defense, reminiscent of the glory days when the Redskins were known for their ferocious pass rush and stingy secondary. Lombardi Trophy aspirations aren't just wishful thinking. With a player like Watt, the Commanders could position themselves as serious contenders for years to come. This move could echo the past greatness of the franchise, reigniting the spirit of those Redskins teams that made the NFL's elite their home. Of course, there are risks involved. Trading for a player with injury concerns always carries that risk, and the Steelers might be asking for a hefty first-round pick in 2026, which could be a gamble if Watt doesn't stay healthy. But the potential payoff, an elite pass rush leader, could be worth it. Plus, the cap situation is tight, and any move like this would require careful planning around contracts and extensions. Still, the idea of Watt donning the burgundy and gold is enough to excite fans who are hungry for a defense that can truly dominate. In the end, it's all about the timing and the vision. If the Commanders can swing a deal, they're not just adding a player, they're signaling that they're serious about competing now and building for the future. Watt's leadership, skill, and relentless pursuit of the quarterback could be the spark that ignites a new era of success in Washington. As we watch this story unfold, it's clear that the NFC East is about to get even more interesting, and the Commanders could be right at the center of it all. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So what do you think, fans? Would you love to see TJ Watt in a Commanders uniform? Can he be the piece that finally pushes Washington over the edge into serious playoff contention? The possibility of such a move is exciting, and it could change everything for this franchise. We've seen some promising signs this season, but adding a player like Watt could be the final piece of the puzzle that transforms the Commanders into a true NFC East powerhouse. Keep your eyes peeled, because if this trade happens, it's going to be one of the biggest stories of the NFL offseason. And I, for one, can't wait to see how it unfolds. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Washington Commanders. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news.